this guy, his feet, his feet are, his feet are not so good. And so, a lot of times, he actually just falls over and shit. And when he does, it scares the shit out of her. She gets all sorts of worried and runs away as fast as she can. And I get it, it is alarming, but every time it happens, she acts like it's the very first time. It happens more than either of us would like. And, so, well, first of all, too, I had to get a new cord. As you can see, well, I mean, it probably just looks a lot lighter than that one, but I had to get a new one because I tried to record yesterday. Oh, fuck! I hate shit. Dude. And it kept cutting out, and the sound was all fucked up, and it was actually just kind of a shit show from the beginning. I mean, I guess this one was too, because I had to help Pedro up over there. But, so I got a new one, and this one, I don't know, like, what is actually wrong with it? Nothing is really wrong with it, it just stops working after a certain point. What is up with a lot of tech that is, like, they produce certain things, I swear. I mean, it's kind of a fact that they do it with a lot of things, but with stuff like this, I think they do it. How, they'll, like, engineer it to fail after a certain while. Like light bulbs. They could basically make light bulbs work for your whole life or something, but since they wouldn't be able to sell a lot of the product if you don't need that many, they engineered them to burn out after a couple years or whatever. And the light bulbs thing, I forget the exact term for this exact thing. There is. But they've done it with a lot of other stuff, and I'm sure they did something like that before the light bulb thing, but it was like the first time that it was like this business marketing decision that was publicized in a certain way for that very thing. But I haven't really done much to ruin this, but it's the same one, except this is 10 feet long. This is 6.6. And the watts, 60 watts, 6.6 feet. And I think there's some satanic shit happening. I mean, there is, right? But was that intentional? Of course. But I'm just chilling, guys. I didn't really make much of these last week. I was just working a lot, and then I was actually having issues with the mic, and it was pissing me off, and I was trying to relax a little bit too and like get some stuff done around here, so I was like, okay, I'll just wait. So, dude, well, okay. We'll unpack this first, because I What is his name? I almost called him Charlie Murphy. What the fuck is his name, dude? It's Connor Murphy. So, I don't know if some of you might know him, but he was doing like old school kind of YouTube videos like back in the day. I mean, he was still doing stuff up until now, but Connor Murphy passed away. Um he it's actually a really weird story with his whole thing, dude, cuz he like started out, he was like a fitness, jacked. He was like one of the first Chads before looks maxing and all this shit was even a thing. And he would go on to weird places in the city and on rooftops and stuff, and he would take his shirt off. I mean, I don't know if he had like a Speedo or if he was wearing shorts, but the shirt was the main thing. But he would take it off and flex and talk to people, do like man on the street conversations and shit.
His video to show his gains to people online, he proceeded to hammer out what eventually became his main gimmick, gratuitously exposing his mostly naked body in public to get shock reactions from random bystanders. While he did also occasionally dabble in workout tutorials,
It was, I mean, pretty cringe, but kind of funny too. And just like, what are you doing? But, he was doing that back in the day. And then something happened. I don't know if he moved away or if I don't know what compelled him to do this, but he went off on like a really weird track and he started ayahuasca, and it seemed like he enjoyed his experience and stuff, but after that, he like started losing his mind.
Even though I'm God, like God still experiences insecurities. God still experiences everything. There has to be ups and downs. There has to be downs to experience the ups. It's just there's this weird underlying feeling that everything gets better, and it's weird. But anyway.
After getting rather lukewarm results from his manager, he then tries to enlighten his best friend, Brett Maverick, but this goes even worse in comparison because Brett sits there stone-faced for nearly an hour, giving almost no input back to Connor.
And that is, if you really work around that logic, somehow we thought that logic is a disease of the ego, but it's not. The ego is something completely different than we have ever imagined. And it just has to slowly be unraveled. Recognizing the ego as thought is a step. That's what you realize, is that the enlightenment process is realizing truth in the moment, but then at a later level,
He was still making videos and stuff and doing a lot of weird shit, and like he started not doing like anything fitness, and he was like taking his semen and like his friend's semen and stuff and putting it on his face for like health benefits. He was making a lot of weird videos talking like commentary about a bunch of shit. And then as of late, he was like still crazy, like and he's like talking about all this weird shit and like about that stuff with him and his friend, and doing that, like he would explain the whole thing of the benefits and like why he's doing, like dead serious. It was so weird, dude. It was so weird. But he started getting into like the looks maxing scene or something. I remember seeing a picture of him with huge jaw muscles right here. Like he's just chewing shit constantly to work them out, and they looked so swollen and bad. It was not good, dude. I mean, cool if you want to do that a little bit, but a lot of this shit gets to a point where like moderation really should be more prevalent. So he died because he went into his back lake and drowned. And I think he still like continued to do drugs and stuff. It like seemed like he had crossed the line into like a really bad mental space for a while. And so I think he literally kind of just wandered back there and didn't swim and just face planted in the water and died. That's crazy. That's too bad. I mean, a lot of the way his life ended up going, I mean, I laughed at certain parts of it and stuff, but ultimately, pretty sad. He like could have gone off in a whole different direction, but for some reason, so and with it too, right? Because he did ayahuasca and then something after that, he just wasn't able to just take the experience and improve his life. Like it warped his mind too much. Well, here's the thing with that too. So, like, honestly, with shit like this and any type of psychedelic or supplements, drugs, like actually anything, but even more so with like a psychedelic because it alters your mind. Like, a lot of other shit will like fuck up your body and make you feel like shit and give you some other like health type of problems. But with psychedelics, right, it is altering your perception. It is taking your mind on a trip. So not only can stuff like this actually happen, and I think probably to more people than not, even like if they actually did some studies on it, you know, I think the percentage of people that are more susceptible to ill effects from mind altering drugs. So, but the thing is, actually, with a lot of that, let's take that group, right, that we just talked about. So, even out of that group, like, there is probably a very small percentage that it's just like immediately damaging and does irreversible effects that would be really hard to control and like get over. But with a lot of those people that do end up going down that way, like if they almost, I think a lot of them, if they had somebody to kind of like actually explain it to them and like let them understand the experience instead of getting like sucked into something they like just can't shake in a way. Because a lot of these people too, like Connor Murphy, was around people that did not help the way he was thinking or his behavior in any way. I think if he had had that first ayahuasca experience and he actually had people in his life that like cared for him and were like cognizant of things he should and shouldn't be doing, I think he would have been able to come back and even maybe take that whole whatever experience he had and be better with all of it. I think it's really crucial with a certain subset of people when they're doing, it should actually be a standard for all of these people, but it's not going to be that way. But the best case scenario for trying any psychedelics, especially powerful ones like ayahuasca with DMT and shit, even for a while after, like, it's a really crucial time to have somebody that can help you stay grounded enough, but like understand the experience and let you kind of get into it enough to take everything that you need from it, but slowly ground you back to the baseline for a little bit. So I think, depending on the certain person, like a lot of those people, I think if they had the right direction and like somebody to kind of guide them back in their way, a lot of them would be fine. And that's a subset of people, right? There's most people, they can do that kind of stuff and they'll experience it. They might be weirded out and stuff, but they have enough like mental cognition going on in their own life and stuff and like whatever. So they're probably able to just get over it or work it in their own ways. They already know what the fuck. And so, but there is, even if it's a smaller group, there's people like Connor Murphy that could have really used some other people in his life. And I don't think he would have had a lot of the unfortunate things that he went through. He was 31 years old. But, alright, dude. Okay. See you next time. Bye.